And finally, at long last, our final game of the day. We're closing in on that 13, 14-hour mark for the broadcast. For those who have stuck with me for even a decent chunk of it, thank you. I might be going a little bit insane, but we'll try to make it a fun game nonetheless. This will be NVMI facing against Tinker. Tinker on top of the standings right now for Starladder after their latest win. They're 8-1. Really good position for them to go to the LAN finals in Kiev. As for NVMI, they've got a lot of work left to do. That game put them to 3-2, but still, they've got a long way to go if they want to make the trip to Kiev as well. And, well, God black, it would be home turf for him. And with that, the draft's well underway, so we'll bring in my co-commentator for this game. He is, of course, Blaze. Blaze, what do you think of the draft? Is your brain... Have you unmushified your brain yet after that last game, or are you still trying to pick up the pieces off the floor?
I don't know, man. I'm still trying to catch my breath. That was just absolutely exhilarating. I haven't seen this much epic Dota back to back to back in my entire life. This is just, it's great to be involved in this, and just great to see these teams clashing the way they are. Yes, it's not ideal. There are mistakes, but that's what Dota's about, is who makes the mistakes, who punishes it, and how you minimize that for victory. But here we are, here with a very interesting draft, different than what we saw before, but still potentially very effective. They do ban out the Death Prophet, but they don't ban out the Visage, as we saw Team Empire did last time around. So this time, NVMI is going to get two heroes that work great with Stampede. The Centaur will be able to enable the Familiars to move at maximum movement speed, and Razor will as well. Both things that need to stay right on their targets, and in this case, keep pace with a Lycanthrope. I'm not so sure about the Shadow Demon, as it does mean that the Demonic Purge isn't going to be that impactful against most of these heroes. Again, they're moving at max for a good portion of these fights, but the Disruption is really potent with Lycan. You can actually get a full Warcraft 3-esque surround when you go for Disruption and summon Wolves, and if they are in a lane together, or if Shadow Demon roams to help out the Lycan, they actually can get some really good kills that way.
Yeah, it can be a potent combo. The one issue that I am a bit worried about for looking at Tinker is they have 0 stuns. So this is where someone like an Ember Spirit becomes more of an interesting option for them. A hero like Storm, who we don't see very often, but really does work well against Nature's Prophet to counter split push. And potentially even Lycan if he gets some follow-up. So that's the main issue I see at this Tinker draft to date. I'm sure they'll get at least one, but even then they'll still be running pretty light on lockdown. That's more or less guaranteed. They do have a very good Roche lineup, though. Something NVMI will have to be careful about.
Most definitely. They're going to go for the puck here for DK Phobos, potentially. Otherwise, Centaur will be on the off lane, and then it would be Scandal to run the puck. But what do you think about just the number one Razor position if they are going to be trying to make everybody get a little bit of money early on and trying to kind of stifle the momentum of Team Tinker?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. Like, do they even look like? So look at NVMI. They're gonna have offlane Centaur, solo mid puck, safe lane Razor. That seems pretty clear. Tinker natural positions would be offlane Prophet. And I guess the main question is, like, do you put your Lycan mid? Do you just run him safe lane against the Centaur? There is a slight chance NVMI could shake things up and run an aggressive tri-lane, but I think that's just not a favorable way to go nowadays with Visage. He's just so squishy. If he ever gets caught, he's just food with his incredibly low base armor before he gets Poisoned Gravekeeper's Cloak, as well as his reduced magic resistance. So I think we won't see an aggressive tri-lane from NVMI, like 90% sure on that, which means I think Tinker can get away with running the Lycan safe lane. They don't have to worry about the aggressive tri-lane stuff that we saw that they used against the Lycan earlier today. And then they're going to run a dual roam combo. So I think they can just rotate the Prophet top lane, take the tower early. So probably what we're going to see from Tinker is get your Lycan a few levels, do a couple pulls, smoke gank behind the safe lane tower with the Shadow Demon Lash, TP in the Prophet, hopefully get a first blood on the Centaur, and just look to take the tower from there. Yeah. And that's pretty much a guaranteed 1 tower, possibly 2 if they get the kill.
Sure, and if you go for just 1 or 2 points in Diabolic Edict, it should be plenty to help bring down the tower, because they do have the Howl that helps out not only heroes, but the Treants do some good right-click damage there. We have seen more frequently the Lightning build go out from a lot of Leshracs. It's a very good spell to max early, but it does stifle a little bit of your structural damage in your early push. So we'll see if just 1 point wonder is kind of the Diabolic Edict way. right now, but I don't know. Whichever way they decide to build it, they're going to have a lot of potency finding kills. The disruption into the Split Earth has a lot of potential there. Nature's Prophet will obviously see that game coming, so he can contribute in the same way that an Invoker would as with a Sunstrike, except he brings his body to the fight, which means he can also follow that up with another push. So I honestly think that they could bring down 2 tier 1s within the first 10 minutes of the game if they play this lineup right, but they're going to have to be careful about their rotations, and they're going to have to be smart about their final pick.
And they are very squishy. Lycan, fairly durable, but he's not going to be able to fight up against multiple NVMI heroes unless they get out to an early lead. And NVMI will ban the Pugna, so a smart ban, something that could be effective for the early pressure. In terms of other options, there's heroes like Dragon Knight, but Dragon Knight... Actually, this game wouldn't be bad. Dragon Knight fares pretty well against Puck, assuming it's a Puck mid, which I'm feeling like it's probably going to be. I guess there's a slight chance that they... As mentioned, they go aggressive with Razor, run the Centaur in a 1v1 safely against the Nature's Prophet, and then, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking.
What do you think about NVMI Abaddon? I know there's not a lot of disables to dispel, but still with the Centaur and the Razor kind of wanting to man up, do you think there would be much value in that?
For NVMI to get an Abaddon?
Yeah.
There's just not many spells to remove, really. There's only the Split Earth stun, so.
Yeah. Naga.
I think it's a support.
Yeah, it has to be
Naga.
support.
Yeah. That's the net is really nice for Lycan. I think that's the main reason they're getting it. Is just this gives them really good lockdown for him, as well as a hero that can just stop him from pushing. Just Song, wait for the team to show up, sets up the familiar stuns. I kind of like this Naga pick, actually. And it also gives them a really strong laning support. Very durable, decent damage. Good setup for someone like the Visage or the Centaur. Maybe they will go aggressive. And into this, Tinker will pick the Ember Spirit.
Yeah.
Sing Sing Ember, definitely up there with Ferrari 430 is arguably like one of the best Embers in the world. It's interesting.
Yeah, it has its risks. I mean, obviously you can get silenced out by the Puck, but if you have the Shadow Demon close enough, Bulba might be able to get a defensive disruption to bail him out. And, of course, the Ensnare doesn't prevent him from jumping to Remnants, so he's going to be able to maneuver as he will and can create a lot of havoc, do a lot of good damage, Sleight of Fist hitting the Familiars and so on and so forth, and they can try to take this to the mid to late game. It's not going to be as much early emphasis as maybe they were hoping, but it is going to secure them a better situation when it comes down to the 30-40 minute mark than we saw in the last game when they were drafting against NVMI, or when Empire was, rather. Is just because this team, they want to kind of work together in the mid game. They're looking for the Blink Dagger on Scandal in particular to get that initiation on Ember. And yeah, they're going to otherwise just use the movement of the Razor and the Visage, and in some cases the Naga, to really close the distance and get those kills via Stampede. You could actually see like a Stampede Song. It's obviously a bigger investment than the Surge, but might be just what you need to get a kill or two. In either case, there's going to be a lot of damage flying out. Lil, he is actually, like, I would say Visage is a signature hero for him. So we saw what he could do with the Enigma, and I'm excited to see what they can do with this lineup here.
Yeah, NVMI a little bit worried about the level 1 Roche whenever you're up against Nature's Prophet, like, and you always got to at least think about it, but they're not a very strong Roche lineup, to be honest, TT, outside of those 2 heroes. And well, with that being said, we'll introduce our teams. This team just went the distance against Empire. They came out on top, but it had to have taken some energy out of them heading into this matchup versus Tinker. Tinker may have a weakened NVMI to face against. DK Phobos, your offlane Centaur. Scandal, the solo mid Puck. The lane's very standard. What I mentioned is like the more likely variant. Illidan will be playing your safe lane Razor. That puts Lil under the support Visage, as you mentioned. And Godblack will be playing that 5-position Naga Siren. And then on the side of Team Tinker, Koikfa, offlane Nature's Prophet. Going mid will be Sing Sing, so that's showing some flexibility with roles based on heroes here as far as at least laning assignments go. Bobo will be playing the support Shadow Demon. EGM, his roaming partner on Leshrac, and already has a smoke picked up, and that does leave Pycat as the safe lane Lycan, not going to be contested. Very important to note, as there's been many a tale. In fact, I'd say most Lycan games where he's not contested in the laning stage are at least painful, even if you win them. It's still very difficult for a while. And yeah,
yep.
we'll see him get free farm this game.
Yeah, at least for the moment, we're going to see some damage come out on Koikva, some bonus right-click damage coming out to Illidan, so he can keep the lane pull back as he will. They're going to try to really emphasize the pull camp and trying to get experience for the supports, as they do really want to give Visage in particular some good levels. But we do see that there's going to be some good micro from Koikva, and they're not going to be able to get the pull unlocked for the first minute spawn. So nice movement there from him. And yeah, from now it's just going to be kind of quiet from the side of the Visage and the Naga Siren. They don't have a smoke at a seat, and they're just going to be playing kind of a interesting little pulling game here. Actually, yeah, nice aggro swap. That was actually really good. The Treants trying to pull the creeps away, trying to get the Radiant creeps behind the tier 1 tower on the bottom lane, but instead they go for that neutral trade-off, and they take the aggro away.
Well, and even better, who cares if your pole camp's blocked? Now you just farm the other pole camp instead. So it works out beautifully for them. Yeah, so
now Koikva's going to have to go all the way around. He's going to have to go like away from every camp possible, but it's difficult.
Yeah, so now looking at our mid lane matchup, we'll have Scandal playing the puck up against Sing Sing on the Ember. But the one thing to keep in mind here, Sing Sing does have Howl damage, and he also has the potential for the Prophet to join this lane. Not right now, currently only level 1, but maybe around that like 4 or 5 minute mark. Potentially that one last right click to get a first blood could come from him. DK Phobos will rotate mid though. Are we playing his signature Centaur? I'd say his best hero. At least the one I've been most impressed by, and we'll see if he gets any openings. While Koikfest found an Invisor in bottom lane, so he'll get a lot of experience. He could disrupt this pull potentially, but well, actually it's just a stack. Not even a stack. He's just right click farming them. Yeah, it's a Treant blocking any potential initial single pulls, and then there's no chance for a pull through from there. But the Invis will be dispelled, and they'll just continue farming lanes. So yeah, look at the mid lane. Scandal is up dealing with Howl damage, but at the same time he's a Puck versus an Ember Spirit, and in theory should be able to harass him a bit with the ranged auto attack. Sing Sing, stout shield up, but not going for the completed 4-man shield yet.
Still, the Flame Guard is going to be annoying for him, because that means Scandal has to commit 2 spells just to burn through it. Otherwise, Sing Sing gets that full immolation and doesn't even take any damage. So he's going to be able to occasionally, with the right cooldowns, go in and take some good CS, push out the wave, and maybe get some room control, which is something that you don't have to get to say against the Puck. But with that 1 point in Fire Remnant at level 6, you'll be able to bounce back and forth between the rune spawns as you will. So there's a lot of potential there, and he doesn't really feel at risk from the supports, because first of all, Koikva has gotten a lot of good intel on them, just vision in general, and he knows they're under-leveled. Right now at only level 2, there is some kill potential there, but not like a dramatic amount, unless they're in the perfect position, closing in from that smoke gank from the top rune spawn.
Yeah, whereas you look at Team Tinker, they definitely have the greater kill potential here, but we'll have to see if they want to use it. They have 2 smokes, but surprisingly, even though they've hit level 3 on the Shadow Demon, level 2 in Leshrac, like this is the point where you could easily go for First Blood, but they're not opting to do it yet. Boba's taken no points in Soul Catcher, which generally you'll see if you want to find the First Blood. Instead, Scandal did take a lot of harassment mid, but he'll bottle this one up. Yeah, he's just gone for the better pushing build, leveling up the poison.
Yeah, going to be able to wave clear pretty well with that. And if he's really precise, Shadow Poison even at level 2 can do insane amounts of damage. But for now, it's just going to be kind of zoning out DK Phobos. He can't get to his tower to defend it. And this is kind of what happened on the safe lane set for NVMI last time around. So they switched, trying to kind of flip the books on him. They're going to take this tower really early, and there's not really anything that can be done. The last hit will just go to the Dire in general, but that's nice gold spread across 5 ways, and they're going to be able to build up some really good item progression early on.
No, it's pretty much a 5-minute Vlad's. He's almost got the Sobi. In fact, it's already complete. So, yeah, sub 5-minute Vlad's coming out for Pycat. Also has a Quelling Blade. And the Wolves are a bit low level to go for a Roshan attempt here, but he's going to have the levels he needs real soon. And with the Nature's Prophet to assist him, NVMI already have to be scouting this. But the one issue for them is they don't really have good detection. Familiars aren't going to be out for some time for Lil, and aside from that, they have Plasma Field and the Orb of Puck, but using the Orb like that means that it's then difficult to fight if you don't jump in immediately. So yeah. I'm feeling like NVMI are going to have a very difficult time stopping this Roche.
Once the support's at level 6, it'll be easier, but that's not going to be until the second spawn. Rush number 1 is probably going the way of Team Taker, almost guaranteed. It's just a matter of time and a matter of positioning. But Pycat right now, he just makes his way to the jungle to farm the neutrals a little bit easier. Pops the 1 clarity. He did Corey himself to get some wolves out, and of course they can pretty much sustain infinitely for their duration with that Vlad's aura. So really cost-effective jungling for him, and it's going to allow EGM to take up the last hitting on the top lane. This is huge. Actually, going to maybe get some damage onto the Centaur. I don't think they can kill him, but we'll see.
Actually, they're going to turn against him. DK Phobos, the stomp, double-edge fall, first blood, gonna go the way of NVMI. They really underestimated the power.
Return kill.
Yeah,
Bulba had 3 stacks of Shadow Poison.
Yeah, gets the poison kill. Still, first blood going the way of NVMI, and they'll be very happy with that. Well, Lil will now pick up a double damager, and he'll deny this one to Sing Sing. Unfortunately, there's... Actually, Sing Sing might go on him anyway, even with the DD rune. Well, Flame Guard's cooling down. If Flame Guard was up, he would have jumped that, but needs that additional damage to get the kill.
Yeah. One thing is that Ember is pretty squishy when it comes down to physical damage. He only has 2 armor, and the Grave Shield does give a nice increase in attack speed to the Visage. So there might have been some real risk there, with or without the Flame Guard. But in the end, yeah, he just still is just going to shrug it off, Bottle Crow, and keep doing his thing. And yeah, this just leaves NVMI. They made one good rotation to get the first blood onto the Centaur, but now they still are having trouble finding some real momentum on these supports. Level 3, level 4, it's not bad, but it could be a lot better. And this just shows how great Quickvo has been in terms of controlling the lane, microing in general, and making it difficult for the supports to move forward. He's going to have his Midas at a pretty good time no matter what because of the early tower death, and Roshan on top of that will just give the entire team a lot of great starting economy.
Meanwhile, Scandal hits level 7 now, has the level 3 orb. Curious to see if he goes back to max the Waning Rift, or if he will continue just to level up the orb. It seems like he is going back for the Silence Max, something you really want to have against Ember, as it's their main lockdown to deal with him. They have some stuns, but no real good initiation outside of that. Godlike not dropping Observer Ward near the Ancients, wants to scout out this Nature's Prophet and at least threaten him a bit. But Team Tinker are picking up some really strong laning stage items, or, you know, as the laning stage breaks down type of items. Their Urn picked up, Tranquil Boots now for Bulba, and he'll immediately deward this one. Looks like, yeah, Sentry dropped down in the river, and he'll probably throw Poison out. And with this, no Dire Vision near the Rosh Pit, or sorry, Radiant Vision near the Rosh Pit, then we'll see Tinker probably just go straight in. Lycan now is his Medallion. He's bought a smoke, and it's probably a matter of 2 minutes before this Rosh is dead at most. Not even, maybe a minute and a half.
But they obviously know the intentions here, but as far as being able to contest it without Song, without Familiars, it seems like it's probably not even worth their time. Maybe when they build the mechanism on Illidan, but that's still a very gradual progression. At least
Scandal top lane, looking for EGM here, coils him, silences him, orbs in as well, and this should be the death of the Leshrac. It'll be another death for EGM. Couldn't even get off his Edict before falling. That does mean coils down for a Rosh Pit engagement, and I think that's where Pycat just goes in right now. Yeah, he'll smoke directly in the pit. Meanwhile, Sing Sing trying to create space. He's diving deep behind this tower, but it's with a purpose. Just trying to force out TPs and keep heroes distracted while his Lycan moves into position. And there's no Song on the Siren yet. There's still no Familiars. There's really no way to stop this for NVMI. Not even a mech yet on Illidan. Yeah, this will just be a free rush for Tinker.
Most definitely, and that's going to give just good swing forward for everyone. I would say that all of Team Tinker can really benefit quite a bit from the early gold. We're going to see like EGM actually build into kind of, I wouldn't say like a number 3 position necessarily, but Pycat, probably the ultimate wants to go on Godblock here, but the rank 2 ensnare will keep him down once it's cast. Right now, body blocks are what's going on, but it's really hard with the hitbox of the improved Lycan. So he will get a 1-for-1, but they do to stop the Rosh.
Really committed to that. Just throws his life away just to get the support Naga Siren. It's a 2-for-1 with this kill bottom on the Razor. But at the team ganky bottom, it seems to me that he could have just played it a little bit more slowly and just waited for his team to rotate to go back into the pit. Still, he'll respawn in 10, and Rosh is still at about half HP, or 2/3, I guess you'd say. EGM will end up going down again, but Scandal gets the kill first, so he gets the experience there, and EGM spends more time at the well, contemplating his woes in this life. And once again, Pycat will move into the pit.
Yeah, this just, it seems like we're going to just be recycling a lot of these combat sessions, because right now it's been very similar as far as just these trade-offs back and forth. Nothing really conclusive so far in this early game, but this is the hard one. This is the big Rosh with the tier 1 tower advantage on top. This is where Team Tinker pull ahead, but it's almost a draft advantage in that regard. They kind of drafted their way into the guaranteed Rosh. Familiars kind of coming in, looking for snipes, but for now, just stone forms, and they're not going to be able to do much.
Any chance that they'll fly up in time to deny this? No, they're still sitting on the ground and actually be forced off of the Rosh Pit pretty easily by Pycat.
Yeah, one already killed. So yeah, it's a unfortunate loss for the Visage. You just barely hit level 6 to pick them up, but yeah, in the end they don't get anything out of Roche Prevention. They lose one of the familiars, and it's just kind of back to the warding game. They have to play very defensive right now. Razor still looking to build up. He has the mechanism now, but doesn't really have the Eye of the Storm to back it up. So even if he's tanky, he's not going to be putting out enough damage without the help of the Centaur. Speaking of, DK Phobos up on the top lane, farming up his Blink Dagger, and he's only just 300 gold off.
Yeah, the other big hero is going to be the Puck of Scandal, but he's not snowballed too much this game. 2-1-1, but CS slipping a bit. 50 CS, and most importantly, no tower gold. So the Blink Dagger's not ready yet for him, and they'll get this tier 1 bottom lane. Tinker starting to extend their lead at this point, as Illidan begins to damage drain an illusion. Nicely done, but now gets purged, and now he's caught out. He's gone too far. They'll be forced to Stampede to keep him alive. Sing Sing can jump in, holds him in place with Searing Chains. Now the follow-up comes from the poison. 2 stacks out. Not enough to kill him, but enough to force him back to the well. And they'll also defend mid. Scandal trying to split push this, but Koikfa's there to prevent it. And they might even go for more. I'm wondering if Tinker will look at a tier 2 bottom lane. They've got the Edict level 4.
But Phobos has got the Blink TP. He's just waiting for them to make that action. If they do go for it, he's going to try to go for the turnaround with that Stomp. We'll see.
But meanwhile, mid, they're also looking to jump in on the side of Tinker. Scandal's got to sit back here. The Wolves trying to stall this one. Phobos jumping in. That's going to be a dead EGM. Question is, do they turn this now? They've netted Pycat, but he's got Aegis and backups inbound. Wolves forcing these familiars off the fight. The stun comes out just in the nick of time to slow down Pycat's pursuit. Now his damage is drained. They're not going to be able to continue this fight if Pycat lets too much more be stolen. Illidan forces him back. Meanwhile, Sing Sing diving in, but he's caught and held by the net. He'll end up going down. Didn't have a good defensive remnant ready. Now Koikfa overextends. NVMI find 3 kills. Lose nothing for this. And Phobos will make his way out.
Yeah, the smoke, just make sure.
Smoking just in case, I guess a profit buyback. Or a wolf.
Well, yeah, this is the summon. So, because if the hero's in range, then it breaks, but otherwise they are invulnerable, invisible to these summons. So
there's no wolves here, though. They're only on this side of the tower.
Yeah, that's just an incredible engagement, using that blink to the fullest effect. They even try to use the summons to keep it on cooldown and keep him in retreat. They get the Sprout on him with a great TP from Koikwa, but he still breaks loose. He still gets out, and he still gets the turnaround kills. This is a huge swinging forward for NVMI, and although the Aegis is still intact on Pycat, I don't know if he's going to be able to feel confident in getting aggressive and using it within its remaining duration. 3 minutes left, but he's got to have the whole team rallied behind him. And last time around against the Blink Centaur, that's just disastrous.
They really don't want a team fight. They'd much more just spread the map, split push with Prophet and Lycan, and prevent NVMI from grouping up. Because if they group up, they've got way better lockdown and just burst damage as well. You're looking at Tinker with 1 stun, and that's Split Earth. They have a snare in Searing Chains. That does not a team fight make. Not at this stage of the game, anyway.
No, they want more farm on EGM in general. Their entire strategy was designed to get the really quick Vlads up on the Lycan so that EGM could farm the lane as if he was kind of the replacement #1, kind of forming at least the third net worth position. But as it stands, he only got to sit there for about a minute or 2 before pressure went out that direction. He's only actually at 3,200 net worth, so EGM is not going to bulk up. He's not going to be going for any big Blink Dagger, Aghanim Scepter, semi-carry type items. He's actually just going to pick up this casual Voidstone, which I think should be a Yule's, but Bloodstone's always an option.
NVMI still just chilling mid as Team Tinker also group up, maybe looking for a dive with this haste rune that Saints picked up. Nice thing to have, just to send those remnants out quickly, as well as to give him a way to chase heroes and Stampede. But Hope head bottom instead. He knows he can split push aggressively, and the only way he's dying is to the Puck Blink. But if Scandal's mid lane, that's not going to be an issue. And with this ward, they'll have a pretty good idea of that Puck's location. Paint's already coming out. It is nighttime currently. And now, NVMI make their move down into the river. They can set up to initiate with the Psalm. They can use that to disengage. They can start with the Puck. They can even bring the Centaur, and they've got 3 good heroes to start or disengage from these fights. We'll see if they actually are contested. Tinker, just gonna let the tower fall. No trait.
Yeah, it's hard to, especially be in this kind of a lineup with the Nature's Prophet and the Lycan. The split push is not there. You're not going to trade towers, which is the opposite of your intentions going into this. So, yeah, a big win for NVMI just with that little kind of basic tower push. But they're the team fighters right now with these Blink Daggers, and they're going to be able to make things happen. First and foremost, they're looking for Koikva, but he's already TP'd to his ancient camp.
NVMI moving through the Radiant jungle now, smoked up, and hunting for something, but Koikfa's not in a good position for them to jump him. And meanwhile, Saint Seiya will try and draw them back. He pushes in the mid lane. Bulba's already heading to split push top with the max Shadow Poison. He can do this quite quickly. And in the end, it seems like NVMI, the team that would really want to fight and probably wins that fight, just can't find one. Tinker doing a good, almost doing their best Cloud9 impression, I would say. Just really spreading the map nicely and avoiding engagements that aren't favorable.
Yeah, the Shadow Demon Poison build is extremely powerful if you have the mana to sustain it. Right now, as far as Arcane Boots, they don't have any, so it is a little difficult for him, but all the same, if he just is extremely precise with the ones that he does use, he's going to be able to farm quickly and bring a lot of counter push to the team fights. So we'll see if that comes into play that much, but it is one that if you are skilled with this spell, it is definitely the best spell you can have.
Top lane, Scandal's moving forward. He's going to have a little peek into this dire jungle, but Bulba spotted him out with this lane ward, and he'll make his retreat. Scandal's hunting for something to jump. Pyket's not an easy solo kill for him, though. He'll want to find a support. Oh, Quake's the one in real danger bottom lane. Goblek's descending on him. He can song. Does he know? Does he know about the TP? He doesn't want to risk the song. Meanwhile, the courier, Saint Seiya hunting at Gloves of Haste. About to be delivered. Can the wolves snipe this even? Oh, it depends on the path it's going to take. Maybe could gnaw it at once, but wouldn't be able to kill it off. So everybody dodging bullets here, and yeah, no real action as far as kills or aggression go.
We're going to see DK Phobos build up towards the Heaven's Halberd, and I think it's actually going to be a much better Halberd game than it was last time. This time around, they're going to be able to disarm both the Ember and the Lycan, and they don't want to go for BKBs outright. Like, they may have to eventually, but it's definitely not their first two items.
EGM, another death for him. Blink, Stomp, Double Edge. What you gonna do, Azula Shrek? This is why the hero This is honestly why we just don't see the hero very often as a core. He's just so damn easy to kill.
Yeah.
And sure, he didn't get the lane farm from the beginning, but as much potential as he has to dish out damage, until he gets some big HP item, or ideally like a BKB or Force Staff, he's just food. He's trying to build a Yule Scepter here, which would enable him to set up his own stuns, but there's a net on bottom lane. Bulba's probably going to be next. Double Edge follow-up.
Did he even disrupt?
Kills.
Yeah, he just kind of took his hands off the keyboard there. He's like, I'm not going to be able to do anything. Even at the disruption, he would have just delayed, and they don't have time for that. They're going to go push down on the bottom tier 1, and yeah, they're going to be able to put a large amount of damage in. Goblek getting the Arcane Boots. That's nice for the team as Illidan gets the free mech off, and they're just going to be able to push this down no problem at all. Now, there's no familiars right now, just the one. If it doesn't have any damage, but there is a resummon available if Visage finds it necessary.
This could be bad. Blink, silence on 2. The coil completely whiffed, though.
Wow.
Oh, Scandal. Unfortunate from him. Goblek sawing. I think they'll just go for Koikfa here. At least that's where Scandal's setting up. Sing Sing's going to be allowed to live, but he might jump back in. Sleight of Fist during Chainsaw 2. Jumping in with the Remnant. He'll finish off the puck. It's going to be a double for Sing Sing. It's a 2-for-1. Considering how that started, hey, that's a trade they'll take. And meanwhile, they're going to take a tower top lane as well. Pycat will push this one in. Is it denied by Illidan? Not able to get that last hit. Pycat, a much-needed boon to his team. Meanwhile, bottom lane as well. The jump in, another death for EGM with the Centaur. Stampede, Blink Stomp. That's all she wrote.
Yep, the quadrupeds there, the dual half-man, half-beast, just going at it, and so far...
6 deaths for EGM. He is half of his team's death at this point. He's really had a rough game.
It's just it's a squishy hero naturally. Even the Earnest Shadows isn't going to make up for that, and it's just really difficult to get him off the feed. That's why they needed to prioritize the early farm so he could maybe respond with the defensive Yules, which technically doesn't help him out of that situation. But
this might be a kill for Sing Sing though. He's jumped in on DK Phobos, trying to TP out. Will the Revenant be enough damage? Not going to bother with it. He knew it was just a little bit short. And he won't go for it in the end. Could have thrown a double Remnant for the extra damage.
Yeah,
but
it would have been extremely close if he got both of them on him, but... all the same.
I think he decided it's not worth the risk, because if he dies there, then that gives a huge amount of momentum back the other way, and with no Remnant to retreat, it's much more likely he could go actually give up a kill.
Verse number 2, they don't have Song to contest this, but I really feel like they still should. They can just rally the troops a little bit faster, but this Roche is dropping so damn fast. They clean up the familiars, no problem at all. They get a bit of a stun, but in the end, the Roche is just dropping too quickly. They have to go now.
No Song. Net onto Sing Sing. He has a Remnant available. He's defensively... well, he's actually zipped out of this one, and now Bulba gets caught out by the coil. The follow-up's there. EGM dropping low to DK Phobos, killed off by the double edge. Meanwhile, the Ember rejoins the fight. Sing Sing sliding through, now zipping back out of the engagement, heading up the ramp. But they've now made their way into the pit. Can Sing Sing steal the Aegis back the other way? At this point, he's got to go for it. He jumps in, but the Aegis goes the way of the Radiant. And so, too, does the kill on Sing Sing. The Roshan gold also into their pockets. I think that's a gambit Sing Sing has to make a move for, but just wasn't fast enough on the right click on the Aegis.
Oh, man, the end result is a disaster. Now we just see everything going the way of NVMI. They're stacking up kills, and not just on the lowly supports that don't have any HP. They're getting it on real big kill targets that are trying to farm up things like Battle Fury and Necro 3. We do see the Necro 3 is up, but this Ember Spirit's still down on the grave for this next tier 2 push, and they're going to be able to put a lot of damage in with the Familiars, with just all these illusions rifling it down, and Bulba can't get too close. There's a very small timing window between when your Shadow Poison hits the first time and the second time, and the Blink Dagger should, depending on the range, the Blink Dagger should...
was problem. Oh no, he's TP'd. Okay, TP scroll, there's no Dream Coil, but that means he's not in this fight mid, so they're going to lose their tower mid uncontested. And that is a much needed tower for NVMI, frankly, because they've still yet to get the tier 1 top lane. They're up against the Lycan Prophet. A lot of Tinker's advantage came from tower gold, but as the tower gold is equalized, we see overall the graphs heavily slated in favor of NVMI. And it is the real weakness of Tinker's draft. It's, something that we discussed really early on is, hey, you open with a Lycan, Nature's Prophet, Shadow Demon, you are not going to have many ways to force engagements and come out on top unless you have a huge item advantage.
Yeah, and it's going the other way now with the Heaven's Halberd up with the Centaur. They know it by scouting with a Wolf, but they're going to get disabled so damn hard. The summons will do a lot of work. The Necronomicon will hurt really hard, but it's just not going to be enough to bring down more than just 1 or 2 heroes, and they really don't have a full team fight. So they're going to just continue to play their rat game. They're going to continue to play their farm game and just try to hang on to what towers they can. But so far, losing that Roche fight cost them 2 in the mid, and it's going to get worse if they don't make up for it. Force Staff will come out soon for Bulba. EGM does finish up the Yules, and this kind of makes him like kind of a little bit of a baby Death Prophet here with the Diabolic Edict and Self Yules. You can keep that damage going in an AoE around you. So there's some potential there. Otherwise, it's just a do-it-yourself disruption, and it will allow him to get the splitters on a solo kill.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. There's also the Puck Silence that you can remove with that, but at the same time, if you throw yourself up in the air as Leshrac, then they're probably just going to surround you and kill you anyway. So yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword at that point. For Tinker now, it's just about, like you said, play the rat game, farm up their core items that allow them to split push more quickly. They've got double book, so that's quite important. Sing Sing getting close to his Battle Fury. And ultimately, as this goes late, he will become their team fight. The only way they're going to win these engagements later on is if he just instantly kills 1 or 2 heroes, or brings them low enough that the Prophet and Lycan can just finish them off before they react. So he's got to get this Battle Fury. He does have Howl damage to aid him, allowing him to do more than what he normally would be able to with the same level of farm in another game without a Lycan at his side.
Lil, though, he's been really good on this Visage. 4-0 and 2 so far. Good micro that I've been able to see, and he just got his Aghanim Scepter. Immediately summons these level 2 familiars at ×3, and they're just going to be able to destroy these towers. They have so much physical damage output, and they're the ones with the Eye of the Storm on their side, so going to be chipping away at enemy HP, negating their armor, and making those familiars even more deadly.
NVMI is a flock moving through this Tinker jungle, not afraid of a thing. While Godlike will pursue Pycat on the bottom lane, but Bulba was waiting for this. It's actually a bit of a bait. They'll summon Wolves now, go the other direction. He'll Song, and they also use a Stampede just to ensure Godlike can escape, but in the end, the question is what did Tinker do on the back of this? Roshan, not available. Aegis still on the Radiant side.
This bait on the top lane is really cool, actually. They had the smoke on it too, but Scandal breaks it. They were going for the tower. But, yeah, he's just going to go for the solo push, and now they kind of break loose. They say it's better to avoid the subterfuge just to get the raw damage, and they are going to be able to take this tier 2 very quickly with all these abilities.
Yeah, that's, again, equalizing the tower gold, and it's still a fairly even game, it looks like, as Tinker have managed to keep their CS up on their cores. They've got 3 cores well into the hundreds, and 120 is the low score, 160 the high one. So they are out-farming, not NVMI when it comes to creeps, but still, they're trailing in terms of gold overall here.
Yeah. One thing that I don't like about NVMI's current status is they don't really have any way to catch Team Tinker off guard right now. They've got some decent wards up, and most importantly, they're out of smokes. There are 2 smokes available for Team Tinker. There is 0 available for NVMI, and this is a time where all their movements are quite transparent. They can try to force something directly, but as far as catching out like an Ember Spirit and getting a silence on him before he can react, it's going to be beyond difficult with the fact that they can't move across the map in Viz.
Aegis on the Razor are going to be reclaimed in 1 minute's time, and that would be a nice little top lane. Sensei was just looking for the opening, but he barely made it out of time. Oh, Sleight of Fist actually will kill off the puck. Thought
Did you see that prediction, though? Like, he actually, like, literally, before the puck even went for the dodge, he saw the orb, the vector that he was going to choose, and threw the Fire Remnant before the orb came out. And then as soon as the jaunt came, he's jumped right on top of him, remnanted right on top of him, and they got the kill. That was just absolutely insane.
That's Sleight of Fist damage as well, man. My goodness. He's already starting to pack a punch here. Now mid lane. We'll push this out with familiars a bit. Well, simultaneously, Illidan will push in the bottom lane. DK Phobos at his side to clear out the wave, and they will start to significantly damage this tier 2 bottom, but the backup comes in. Quakefoot brings in a Necro Book to ambush them from the sides. Illidan will get sprouted. You ain't going anywhere, he says, until the TP out. Can't disrupt him in time, and he'll make his escape. That's some. Those kinds of kills for this team are absolutely essential, though. Just outplaying NVMI, finding pickoffs in small scale engagements. That's where Tinker can make their bread and butter.
Absolutely agree with that, and they're just going to keep on moving forward. I mean, right now, if they can just kind of spread into the enemy's jungle a little bit, farm up a few of their camps, and then go back to their side and play it safe, play it passive, they could just continue to exploit this kind of dire Roche advantage and make it so that they're in a position where their summons just do too much damage, and at some point, it's critical mass against the towers. It is going to be just hard push, hard rat that cannot be answered conveniently by NVMI, and they're going to have to commit resources time and time again to try to push them out of the base. And it looks like it is going to be a Scythe of Vice coming out for Quakefuzz. Prophet, still a little bit of ways to go before he has the gold for that, but I figure in this kind of game, he's probably going to be willing to buy out for it and just get it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, 2,700 gold. He's got the Mystic Staff if he wants it. Meanwhile, Sing Sing will remnant all the way down to bottom lane. He'll drop one even deeper in the trees, and he may look to go in here on Illidan. And at least force out a mech in a rotation back. But backup is coming in the form of Lil. So Sing Sing will just split push for now. This is where you'd love to have like a hero like Storm or something to go along with the puck, but they just don't have that level of mobility to gank the Ember, let alone the Prophet and the Lycan. Yeah. At the same time, I'm still feeling if NVMI gets to take a team fight anytime soon, they will win it. They just have too much lockdown, too much physical damage, and from the Visage familiars now as well. And Tinker, they've got to operate with finesse, which so far they've been able to do. Oh, top lane. That's not going to be good. Disruption, and then, well, say goodbye to your Scandal. He'll try to orb to the right, but the Purge is there to follow him. EGM in pursuit will use himself up in the air, then he comes back down to earth, phase shifting away, dodging. Can he blink out? He will.
Oh, the Wrath!
Still actually gets caught by the Nature's Wrath and will end up going down. Meanwhile, mid, Sing Sing, he's also caught, but they didn't have enough lockdown. Without the puck there, they can't really do much to this Ember.
So the Stampede's going to be on cooldown for a little bit here. They're just going to TP down bottom, and they're going to start pushing forward. Maybe find a snipe onto Illidan. The BKB not out on him just yet, and they did pick up the Hex. Would be huge. They're looking for the steering chains right now. Static Link goes the other way as well, but they've got the numbers right now. This is coming in to try to bail him out.
And the turn comes as Illidan just runs right back in with the familiar stun. One of the Sing Sing. Quakefo waiting for the TP opportunity, and Hex is ready, and he's going for it. Directly on top of Illidan, he can sprout him. Follow this up with a Hex if he needs to. Well, Hex first, then the sprout can come, but not even necessary. The hold Illidan in place, but he just turns and fights them with 3 familiars at his side. He might actually end up getting multiple kills for his team. Sing Sing sliding through, clean up everything. The Remnant's forced to retreat out. Well, meanwhile in the top lane, Pycat dove deep. And he will push this lane all the way in.
Yeah, 500 HP left in this tier 3 tower. It's really good for this stage of the game where they can just, at any point in time, have Quick teleport up there or get another play where Pycat approaches it. And NVMI have to be very conscious about their structural damage at this point. They don't have a Treant Protector to play Bob the Builder this time around. They have to make sure that in every circumstance, the towers are prioritized above all else.
Bob the Builder. That was good. Team Tinker now. The Roche is up. And that's going to be their next objective. Question is if NVMI can finally contest this. They have Son online, they have Coil, but it's just about getting to the Roche pit at this point. And they don't have the tier 1 mid anymore. Tier 2 bottom's down. Their access to the Roche pit is severely limited. And if they go, that's where Prophet can just split push top, Lycan can split push top, and you just wait until you see someone from NVMI show up there. There's no BOT carries, there's no Ember Spirit on their side. They don't have anyone who can just Or even a Morphling with a Replicate, who can deep push and then instantly join the fight at the pit, so... I'm feeling like, once again, if Tinker play their cards right, this should be a free Roche for them.
Definitely. I mean, the song is really the question and how they'll use that. But we do see actually Godblack picking up an interesting item here. It's kind of going to be kind of a semi-carry build for him, but there's also a lot of utility built into it. The Diffusal Blade will allow him to dispel the Hex that Koikova just picked up. So if he's in the right position, a lot of times you'll see like Stampede and Force Staff used to respond, but you can actually Diffusal that person, and then you can turn right back against the Nature's Prophet, which would be astounding. But for now, it's just good illusion damage, might be annoying harassment, and that's about it.
And they're near the pit. NVMI not wanting to give this one up for free. And into the pit they'll go. Are they actually going to try to steal this away from Team Tinker?
This is hard.
They do have the stronger 5-man for now, I feel.
But yeah, but Lycan's up top, split pushing, and they have the Battle Fury Daedalus to just cleave in the pit over and over.
Sleight of Fist it through. He insta-kills the Naga! He one-shots her with the cleave crit. Sensei looking for more kills, but meanwhile, it's not even about this. It's another cleave through. They're doing tons of damage to these heroes, while top lane, they're pushing it and looking for the bigger objective. They're trying to take the racks up. I think they're going to take it quickly as well. The top melee racks have already fallen. Still Roche dropping fairly low to this. Sensei will end up going down, but the trade is much bigger. They're even going onto the throne. They'll bring down a tier 4 as well. Lycan try to TP out there this time. Pycat, well, static linked and unable to retreat as the coil might finish him off. It will do so. Still Roche at half HP. Actually, a little bit less than that. They'll buy back immediately on Pycat. They know how important achieving the Roche is next. And VMI, they just got outmaneuvered. There really wasn't much they could do there.
Without the Fortify and against that farmed Ember Spirit, it was just a disaster to even try that. But they went in. Now they have to finish what they started, but the Roche is dropping quickly with the Treants here, and now with the Howl, with the right clicks, they will take it. They will miss out on their opportunity. Maybe they can clean up some lives here. DK Phobos with the stun.
Pycat will BKB. He dodges out of that. And now all his damage stolen as he's forced out of the pit. Doesn't have his ultimate available. Can't do a whole lot here. Koikfa, no buyback on him. He'll go down too. But then they turn back in onto Scandal. He'll Yules himself up in the air, buying him time to potentially phase shift, then blink out. Stomp through. Onto Sing-Sing. They'll bring down the Ember Spirit. Wow. That was a dieback for Sing-Sing. Now Bulba next. Tries to disrupt. He will dodge away from a killing blow on the Soul Assumption. Then goes down regardless. Tinker take their first lane of racks. They take the Aegis. And they do hang on to that, but it comes at cost, Blaze.
Yeah, I mean, this game just went from 0 to 100 in 60 seconds, for real. I mean, this is insane. Scandal going to go for the pickup of the Scythe of Vice. He's still going to have buyback. He has 26 gold available on and he's going to be able to build that up very quickly. So Geometry Shot on him, Scythe on him. He doesn't want to go down, but if he has to get back to the base and defend, that's one thing. Anyways, for right now, it's going to be 48 seconds where they get to push without the Ember Spirit, and that's something you don't often get going into breaking high ground. Usually, in this choke point, you funnel up, you get into that cleave radius, and you take a huge amount of damage, Sleight of Fist after Sleight of Fist. But 35 seconds, he's down for the count, they'll break the base open, and even if he tries for that play, they'll get hexed like this.
Big initiation there. As Pycat gets caught on the Lycan throw, he'll go down once. He does have his ultimate, BKB as well for the second life with the Necrobook. EGM trying to hold the line. Goblin will saw him, but he just dies to the Pulse Nova even through that. And now Illidan's overextended. He'll be forced off the tower. They haven't taken racks yet. Tinker hold for the time being, and well, they haven't gotten an objective for this. DK Phobos still chasing for kills, but with 3 teammates dead, he's not going to get one. Pycat not going down to a Soul Assumption as Koikfa turns this. Sprouting up DK Phobos will finish him off, turning back for Lil. Familiar stuns, at least allow the Visage to retreat.
Just go base right now. Lil's the only one to defend. He could start just hammering in on either of their towers. There he goes, bottom lane.
I'm trying to think here if they have anything, but there's no buybacks aside from Puck. And Puck is alone is not enough to hold this. They'll make that rotation towards the bottom lane. Bulba's going that way. Sing-Sing and Pycat straight through the mid. And Koikfa, no Necrobook. That's the only downside to this. But he can summon some Treants. And he can at least do chip damage here. The question is, can they actually take a full lane? Maybe they'll just take the tier 2 mid and potentially force out a Glyph. I'm not sure they can actually take a second lane of Rex just yet.
They want to go and pressure now before we see things like the Razor BKB and maybe moving towards Refresh Orb. They want to go before Visage picks up this AC. They want to keep this momentum rolling, and obviously, since they know that any buybacks that could have been used would have been used by this point, they are just going to be going in and looking for some blood here.
Tier 3 tower dropping very quickly. Sing-Sing, Sleight of Fisting through. He'll kill off one Remnant, the other 2 stunning. Now, Pycat taking a soul assumption to the face, the wolf just poking away at this tower, but not doing a whole lot after that. Another Sleight of Fist, good damage by Sing Sing, but he needs more time. He's got to get like 2 more slights off to really finish these heroes off. Another one, the crits, the damage. Look at the DPS from Sing Sing. He'll run 2 down. It's a double kill for him. It feels like he almost solo killed their entire team, and with 3 dead on NVMI, if they can't fight back now, this is probably it. It's a triple kill for Sing Sing. Slices off the Naga's head in the fountain. They'll disrupt. Chains cooling down in 2 seconds time, and Taker have just crashed into this party that NVMI wanted to host. They'll lose their tier 4s. The throne's gonna be next. Taker, breakthrough. It looked like it even might be a Rex the other way with that push through mid, but GG, NVMI just didn't have it in the end. Extra lives, the Aegis, and that one fight in the Roche pit where Tinker first got their first lane of Rex. They'll take this game, and they keep their nearly undefeated record going, now 9-1 through 10 out of 15 games in Starladder group stage play. They're getting to a point where they could lose out and still qualify for the LAN finals. They're not there yet, but they're damn close.
Man, insane play in general from Team Tinker. Obviously making the decisions they needed to, but MVMI, maybe it's the fatigue. Maybe it's the fact that they just went through, I don't know, an hour and 17-minute game and came out the other side here. It's a different mentality going into it, and that attempt on the Roche was just a huge blunder. They lost on all fronts, and although they get some return damage, it just opened the game wide open for Team Tinker to close it out. And in 36 minutes and 9 seconds, they do so. So that will conclude our incredible marathon broadcast, and it's going to be a hell of a rebroadcast, I'm sure.
Yeah, guys, thank you for joining us. It's been like 14 hours and counting at this point. I think 10 games in total for me and maybe 11 for you, Blaze. I don't know. It's a lot of Dota. Hope you guys enjoyed it. All VODs available at youtube.com/BeyondTheSummit.tv, including our EGM commit seppuku clip, or enter not God mode, I guess. So he denied himself the neck. Killed the Necrobolk and got himself killed with Wave of Terror earlier. Pretty funny clip, but yeah, still a great day for Team Tinker. Great day earlier today for KPG as they managed to take down 2 big names, Cloud9 earlier today. Man, that feels like it was a day ago, as well as Empire to take 2 wins in a row from 2-7 now to 4-7. But yeah, tons of awesome Dota we had today. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed our coverage of Starladder Season 10. You can follow Blaze at BlazeCasty on Twitter, myself at LDDota on Twitter. And with that being said, it's a wrap, guys. We'll see you in like 12 hours when the marathon commences again. Goodbye.
Woo!